All right, well, welcome to Live from My Drum Room. My guest is drummer and educator Billy Ward. Billy's recording and touring credits include B.B. King, Robbie Robertson, Carly Simon, Richard Marx, Joan Osborne, Bill Champlin, Joe Sample, Art Garfunkel, David Crosby, and so many more, and that's just to name a few. In 1996, Billy was hired to record music for the film That Thing You Do, and was brought on as an on-set consultant to teach Tom Everett Scott to play drums. And we'll talk about that during the show today. Billy is a highly acclaimed clinician and educator and has released 2 award-winning instructional DVDs, Big Time and Voices in My Head, available through Hudson Music. And his book, Inside Out, is available through Modern Drummer Publishing. I'll put the links in the show notes. And I'm just so thrilled to have Billy here with me today. So come along for the ride and please welcome Billy Ward. Hey, Billy.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm great, buddy. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today, man. We got, I've been getting so excited about this since we talked about it. And for everybody watching at home, I just want everybody to know we were going to do this a while back. And Billy, you referred me to a great podcast you did. I'm sorry, I don't remember the man that did it that you referred me to. Was he Australian, maybe, or?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. Mark Travers? I'm not
Okay,
sure.
that could be okay. And and it was so great. And I said, well, I've just learned that it's probably better to put a little space between, him releasing his podcast with you and then us doing this. So I think the timing worked out great. And then it just so happens that it seems like in as it happens, your work on That Thing You Do has sort of resurfaced yet again, all this discussion about it all over the internet. And so the timing, I think, is great to have you here today. The timing is always great to have you here. So it's better it's better than great. How are you, by the way? Let's start there.
I'm doing well, thank you. More doctors than usual. I'm 73, but it's really good. I mean, I feel very fortunate, and I'm very happy. And it's been a rough go at times in my life, but
I know.
great, man.
Good. Well, you look great and you sound great. And this is, we haven't seen each other in person in a while. And this is how I always remember you. Never without a smile, ever. So God bless you, buddy.
Choose joy.
And I was thinking, I just have to say, I was thinking about all these different things. I remember a Frankfurt show that you played at years ago, God, in the 2000s, when the Frankfurt show was a thing. And I just remember both of us, because we're on the East Coast, there we are in Frankfurt, totally jet lagged, and you'd come by the Zildjian booth because we had an espresso machine. And and you'd come by and have an espresso every morning. And even as just beat up as you feel when you're just jet lagged and your body clock is up, you just be sitting there kind of like going, "Hey, how's it going?" Anyway, I was probably like, "Oh God, Billy, I wish it wasn't so noisy
People
here."
get worn out. I have a high revving motor, I think, and so as my late wife pointed out, I'm like a shark. I fall asleep when I stop moving. I have no problem falling asleep. I just stop clicking my toes and stay still, and then I'm gone. So it's my motor,
Well, that's cool. I wish I could do that. Sometimes I feel so tired, and then I finally lay down, and my brain won't shut off. But anyway, man, it's great to see you. It's great to have you here. Let's talk about some of the stuff that you've done over the years. Well, we'll get to the movie in a little bit, to the film in a little bit, but, I remember the first time I saw you actually play, and I hadn't really met you, and I made a note of this because our friend, John Van Ness, who was working for Drum Workshop at the time, and I knew John when he worked for Caruso Music in Connecticut in the 80s, when I was working for Drum Workshop as a rep. But I remember you played at the 2000 Modern Drummer Festival, and I'd heard your name. I knew who you were. I'd seen you in ads, and John introduced us at the banquet. I don't know if you remember that, but John said, "Do you know Billy Ward?" I said, I don't. It was after you'd performed. he said, he's a great drummer. And, I said, I know, I saw him. And he said, he's played with all these people. And you were very just like you are now. You're just like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Yeah. Yeah. You work for Zildjian? Cool. And then it just, as fate would have it, it was like 18 months later that we started working together, that you came on board with Zildjian, which was so great. And, but anyway, that was the first time I got to see you play. And, and what I love about your playing, and I'll say this without any, hopefully offense to any other great drummers who might be watching, is every time I've ever seen you do a clinic or one of the many festivals is, again, you have a bag of chops like everybody out there, but it's always about the music. You come out and you play, whether you're with a band, which you've done many times, or just by yourself, it's just, there's always music going on in your head. You can tell that with the grooves that you play and the way you set things up. And I just thought maybe you could just talk about your concepts a little bit.
Well, I started playing when I was 9. I wanted to get my drums when I was 5, but they tortured me with piano lessons.
I bet you're glad now, though.
And I got my drums, and I've played all my life. And so if you keep playing long enough, and as you grow up and mature, I think the idea that it's the music that counts, it's the interaction, it's the conversation. I've not been playing with people. I still lately, because I don't want to sit on a bus with stinky men. And so I'm here. I do some tracks for people sometimes, for clients. But the what I really miss now that I'm not doing that all the time is the conversation. Like my late wife was an artist. We'd have dinner conversations with artists and musicians, and everybody's arguing about shit, and it was just fun. And you listen, and then you get to spray something, and that's what music is. And if you're playing a song, then you're playing something that's been, in some cases, it's comes out of the sky, like from God, but in other cases, it's very torturous. But the composer wants to hear it right. I mean, when you play for a writer, they want to keep sound check going forever, because they just want to hear the song, and so that's the job. And it just occurred to me that that's the job, and that's also the joy of when I teach, because I know I'm helping them. It's not like they have to have chops. Look at Ringo, and he's the best at song playing, and Charlie, he's got jazz influence, but he doesn't have, he's not Tony Williams,
Right. Yeah.
And you don't have to have that. And so I think it's really helpful to realize you can experience music as a player, and as long as you don't go down into crazy land, and then you practice so much, it can give it a validity, and then you're, as Cranny would call it, spraying. Then you're spraying over everybody with all the notes. It's like, but it's taken me. It's time. There's a lot of times you feel. I feel so ebullient. I feel so happy, and I just want to play a big ass fill. And when I do, I regret it. But I had to do it. And sometimes it gets you fired. But it's the way it goes.
No, but I think I hear what you're saying. It's just like you're playing what's in your heart, and it's like you say, sometimes the band leader may turn around and go, "Man, that was the most killer shit I've ever heard," or you might go, "No, man, I wasn't," But and I love the honesty of that, and I love that you've always told me, with your teaching, that it's always about, it's not always about chops, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not always about just having a lot of chops. And I think that's probably a challenge for you to teach somebody that way, because we're in a world of, students are so exposed to players with so many chops. And there's almost, I have to think, right, for you that, you're having to cut through all that with your students and say, listen, guys, it's so obvious to you and me that what's going to get you hired is not that. It's going to be your time and your feel and then, you demonstrating, saying, be able to play like this, like you're just, water flowing. That's what they want. A band leader's going to hire you to play like, not,
Well, there are some, and I don't want to discourage anyone from achieving and reaching for excellence. And if for them,
Sure.
excellence means being able to, do more than just tapping your head and rubbing your tummy, then good,
Yeah. Yeah.
great. So that's out there. I just think the higher joy for me, I mean, you can't teach what you don't know. And so, or what you yourself haven't learned. And I had to learn, I came from when I was 16 or 14, somewhere around there, I bought After Bathing at Baxter's Jefferson Airplane and Miles Smiles. So, which is most
Yeah.
people think the quintessential Miles record. Bathing at Baxter's is not, but that was my tastes back then. I was all over the Who, Buffalo Springfield, Nas, all these different groups, and at the same time, in '68, John Coltrane showed up. I had friends, and they lent me their records, and so Buddy Rich took a back seat at that point, and
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So that's my influence, and so I just draw from all of that. And the way to creatively do it is find. When I teach, I call it. It's like in my suitcase. These influences are in my suitcase, and so a song comes up, and how do you get out of the bridge without stepping on the singer? And you have a suitcase full of examples of,
Yeah.
for instance, how Jeff did it, and so that's it. I mean, you just build those tools, and you can't see them, but they're tools as much as the drumsticks are.
I love it. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, is all this like real world stuff that you can impart on players, whether they're young or old guys like me, but just things that people don't always think about. They're not, like you say, just like, getting out of an area without stepping on the singer and in an important part of the song. And I'd love to maybe at this point right now play a video, the video that's Heart Above Water. And this is just such a beautiful composition. And maybe if you could set it up a little bit and just tell us about this, and I'll play it.
Well, this was a passion of my heart, as you know. I when I was visiting you at Zildjian, I showed you the outline of what this film was going to be, and
Yes.
everybody, John Good too, everybody that saw it said, "If you can do this, it'll be great." And I'm going, and so somehow it happened, and the movie it's watchable by anybody. You don't have to be a drummer to get through it and not be bored. And at the end of the film, I get fired. That's the one thing I knew had to be in the movie. I get fired, and then the next scene is I'm playing in a bar, like a club with the club date clothes on. And I'm actually using a fork and a knife instead of a stick in that scene. And it's flashing between that and me with this other wonderful artist, Stuffy Schmidt, real name. And so Stuffy came to me with this song, and I had worked with him before. He's a massive, unique talent, as you can tell when you hear this song. And he's now in Nashville, but he was a force when he was in New York.
Wow.
And,
Yeah.
he let me record this with him and produce it, and I'm forever thankful. I love that song.
And the part you came up with, well, I'm going to play it. It's just so beautiful, and it's to me, it's like it's a blueprint to you, how I think you play. And but anyway, or
Thank you.
my pleasure, Billy. Yeah. So let's play this right now.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
If I'm a drowning man, swims out for me, past the giant clown and the enemy submarine. In this ocean of tears, I can't control the scuba gear. Help me keep my head and heart above water. If I am doing time up the river of broken dreams, would you still be mine? Put the fire in the cake for me. Miles of crocodiles floating mode outside. Help me keep my head and heart above water. I hear the songs of whales ricochet off these lonely nights. I raise my tattered sails underneath the freeway lights. All I need is you. Through the hurricane and the monsoon, help me keep my head and heart above water. Help me keep my head and heart above water.
Wow, Billy, masterful, my friend.
Thank you. The video crew, they're all wonderful. Wonderful
Well,
talent,
yeah,
major talent.
great video, but the playing is just lights out, buddy. I got to tell you, you're very humble. I mean, the video was great too, but holy shit, man, that was just yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Papa Joe started it.
No, I mean, it's just it just the mood that what you play, the groove just creates this incredible mood, that just it sets. I'd love to just talk about how you use that to set the whole mood of
Well,
the
sure.
song.
I mean, well, okay, you hear a song and they want you to play drums to it. Does that actually automatically mean that?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. There's other, like, where's the pulse? If you're in a band, who else is playing drums? If there's a rhythm guitar part, maybe that's the hi-hat. You leave hi-hat out, or you use that hand for something else. And when Peter Gabriel came out with Jerry Marotta, not using cymbals, I just went, wow, maybe this is coming. Let's do that, and when I go to the sizzle cymbal, let's make sure there's a lot of compression on it. So it just blossoms across the track. And that's, that's it. That's how I hear, like Art Blakey in a downbeat in the 60s said, I hear violins in my cymbals. I mean, that's great. And of
That's
course,
amazing.
Boone
Yeah.
hears violins. Um, they're both valid, so it's all good.
No, I was going to mention that the use of the sizzle cymbal is just like, that's the icing on it for me. It's just, I zoned right in on that, and heard that. And I have to think that when you composed that drum part, you were, you know, you had it all figured out before. Obviously, before you did it, you knew which drums you were going to play to set that sort of that sound and that feel, and like you say, the sizzle cymbal just spreading out across the track the way it does is just beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. That is a very large sounding drum set. That's that DW kit from the 2000 MD Fest, and the snare drum is a 4x15 Craviotto with
Okay.
old Slingerland snares underneath. And so when you slap it hard and it goes like that, another sound. So I use that. And anyway.
That's so great. Well, let's keep playing some music. I'd love to play a couple more tracks because, this is great. You directed me to some music that I might not have otherwise found, and what's great about this is it really demonstrates your versatility as a drummer, which I'm well aware of. But I think for people watching and listening, I guess maybe should we play some Mortal Drama?
Sure.
Yeah. And then yeah, okay.
I'll set it up. I made a duets record with people I like that are friends, and it's just me and them. No overdubs, no repairs. And so I did two songs with Chris Whitley, who was a great friend and wonderful guitar player. And you'll see what he's got here. It's like the guy was really something else. And this is a song, by the way. He came into the studio. So I was producing this. I was like renting special tape heads and all kinds of stuff. It was expensive. And he shows up really late, and he goes, "Do you have any other amps?" And he said he wanted an AC30, and there was the AC30. I said, "No, sorry, man, that's all I got." And instead of panicking because all this money's at stake, I just kind of sort of just something happened, came over me, and I just relaxed and I said, "Chrissy, I think we're already done. So take your time." And these songs peeled off. And this one, he said, "Well, I've got this, it's like a little waltz that I wrote when I was in Belgium." I said, "Great, let's do it." And that was it. We did one run through and then we took it, and that was it.
Wow. All right. I love the
and
backstory.
drums, these are also big drums. This is a 27-inch bass drum.
Holy, okay.
Like an old Ludwig 40s, like from Calf Heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was all tape. This was analog recording.
Yes.
Yeah. The real way.
Yeah. 16-track 2-inch. That was, special heads and, crazy birdcage mic on the bass drum, you name it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Billy. Yeah. And if you think of anything else afterward, by all means, but let's play the track right now. Some Mortal Drama. And this is from Two Hands Clapping, a record you put out under Billy Ward that's available. So
not really. Not really. I was selling it directly when all of a sudden I was the new guy, like in the early 2000s, and then I just kind of forgot about it, and it's still sitting here. And I never really took care of the publishing and everything. So, I mean, I did, but now I don't know what it is. I need a lawyer. I need some help, but I'd like to get it out because it's really cool. It's really interesting. I wanted to show how drums can support harmonically. So that's why I have a big bass drum with the guitar, because then there's nobody going, "Where's the bottom end?"
Well, you must know Paul Quinn, right?
No.
You don't know? Okay, when we're done, I'm gonna give you Paul Quinn. Paul's an attorney, music attorney, a great friend to all drummers all over the world, and I promise you, he will help you out in terms of needing an attorney for the publishing side of it. He's a great guy. Yeah, he could be watching right now. So,
cool.
But I'd say that even if he wasn't watching. All right, here we go, Billy. Here we go. Some Mortal Drama. Love this tune.
Okay, Billy.
projects level forthright the flying ground. At the fine St. Regis, we did do our best to clown some mortal drama right along with the rest. We said scene 1, yeah, birthday. Scene 2, yeah, gotta stay. Scene 3, yeah, I don't know. Scene 4, it's maybe best to go. Me and my good dog did waltz with fair and fair to and fro scenario of dog and gentleman. Natural actors, we surrender to the show with all the simple pleasures therein on earth to know. We said scene 1, yeah, birthday. Scene 2, yeah, think I'll stay. Scene 3, I don't know. Scene 4, maybe best to go.
Yeah.
All playwrights turned out to place a best bid. Hometown props and citizens to stage this mortal grid. The final note of the theme song, the dramatists withdrew. Me and my right arm turnpike bid a first adieu. We said scene 1, yeah, birthday. Scene 2, yeah, gotta stay. Scene 3, I don't know. Scene
I think it's important to play the contrast between Heart Above Water and that because holy shit. I mean, it's like a prog tune, you know, it's just it's so burning.
My right foot ankle was so tired after that. That big bass drum. I don't usually play bass drums that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that must have been yeah, really to make that work that way. And so that's really interesting what you said ahead of the tune is that you played it, you ran it down one time. So Chris played the melody for you and you came up with that he played that waltzy.
He just counted it off. We just went in and we did it. And then it was like, okay, I think maybe we talked about doing the break. Cause it's a drummer record, you know, and probably suggested that. But I, you know, it was just, and I was singing harmony with him through the overhead mics, you know, you know, all live. It was all live.
Oh man.
He is a
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the people watching really dug it too. I mean, that's yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, definitely I'm going to connect you with Paul because you should really try to get that out there.
Yeah, it's neat. Really neat.
Yeah.
The other Chris song is great. There's 2 or 3 with Bill Champlin. There's one with Jim Beard. There's an Irish folk song with John Patitucci playing what the fiddle plays. It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
It really,
Yeah.
he practiced that for a year and then came in and nailed it. It's just great.
That's great. Well, I'm going to play something else that is, again, like a total left turn from what we just listened to. And this is from an early band you were in called the Beaks. And this is from the 80s, you said, and I think it'll be obvious when
early 80s.
Early 80s. Yeah. And maybe you could give us set this up a little bit, because I hear some influences in there that.
Yeah, well, they gave me free reign to be Keith Moon and some of the other, this one's straight ahead. This song is built for CBGBs, and as was The Pills Aren't Working, another song of ours. Like at the end, the pills start working and people are banging their tables, Anyway, it was a really great band that didn't work out, of course. But it's funny how these little things turn into coins that help you. What I want to say is sometimes you just think you're doing nothing, but maybe you are doing something that will later pay off. And this somehow, this band, even though it never happened, this particular song ended up getting me a couple of gigs. So it wasn't in that style of music, the gigs that I got. It was just
wow.
It was just like your reaction is like, oh, well, really, he's got the pair to like send me this for an audition.
So. And so this was the early 80s. Had you just moved to New York at that point, or had you been there for a while?
I moved to New York in 1977.
Okay. And
I thought I had a gig waiting for me with the jazz bassist Cecil McBee.
Yeah.
And when I went up to him, I go, "Hey man, I was Bill Ward then, which has confused all music, And Bill Ward has suffered, and Billy Ward has suffered. He's played some of my songs, and I've played some. I have a credit with Ozzy on my music site, and he's got credits to the jazz guys. Anyway.
I wondered about that. That is so great.
How do you fix that? I mean, So, I was Bill, and then Maura, my late wife, said, you're having too much fun to be Bill. You got to be Billy now. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was Billy when I was a kid. I'm Billy again. Yeah.
So Cecil saw me and goes, "Oh, I thought you were a little guy." I'm like, "No, I'm big." And I didn't know what it meant, but he said, "Well, you gotta," I wasn't prepared to be in the world in New York at that point. So I suffered for a while and bounced around, and I did a record in 1979 with Dean Friedman, who I still adore, and we did it at Les Studio in Montreal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had Nigel's drumsticks were on the floor, and it was a Heyman kit, which I know you know all about.
Yeah.
And basically, I didn't hit the drums hard enough, and my time sucked. And that's what sent me on my path to sorting that out. And that's what sent me on the path. So I got fired after that record, and later rehired by Dean, but it helped me. That bad thing that happened, it helped me. And thanks to many influences, but specifically with time, Harvey Mason, because George Benson was big then, really studying how he placed things really helped. And I go into that in big time. Like, I had to work so hard at it because in jazz, the feel matters. The feel mustn't change. The time can move. Mm-hmm. And obviously, if you're building a brick house, the ground floor in rock or pop music, especially since drum machines came out, it's got to be tighter than 1,000th of a second. So it's learning how to do that, and it wasn't natural to me, is what gave me the juice to feel like I could make an instructional about helping people with their time.
Yeah.
And that's where that is. Anyway, so the Beaks. Go ahead.
All right, I'll play it. That's very enlightening to hear that, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. But let's play the Beaks. Yeah, gotta be a man. I tell you got to be a man to play this tune. Absolutely. Here it comes. Woo.
From the moment I wake
line.
up till the time I go to sleep, got this one thing about one track behind. From the day of my birth
So, what are you playing on the bass drum? I could not. I mean, it sounds like you're just playing 16th notes or something, right? Is it?
I'm not. No,
No.
I'm doing. I'm doing every other note, every other eighth note other than the snare drum, on the
Okay.
kick, except when I can't. So I'm implying that, and I don't remember. I mean, it was one of those nice Gretsch or GW pedals and single pedal, obviously, and yeah, it's just I sort of had a balance with that at that time. I could never play that now, but that's what I had worked myself into.
Yeah.
Those tools I had that year, I guess.
Man, it's ridiculous. Wow. It's like Primus hadn't been formed yet, but if Primus played that song, I would think like they got that from you guys. You know what I mean? It reminds me of like the Ramones meet Primus or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
We had an edge, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll send you the other songs we did.
Yeah, please do.
Privately.
Yeah. What a great song to have in your resume there, because it's just like so different from all this other stuff that people associate you with, you know?
But that's when first of all, Bill Evans loved the Beaks. Bill Evans, the jazz saxophonist.
Yeah.
He would come to our gigs, these little clubs. And then later on, I met him. I was at a Jocko clinic, so it pays to go to other bass player clinics or drummer. Hello, learn something, see what they're saying about us. And Mark Egan was there, who I'd been doing jingles with from time to time and played, I think, once subbing in Elements and stuff like that. And he introduced me to Bill, and he said, well, I'm a fan of the Beaks and this and that. And so later on, I ended up playing with him.
Yeah.
What led to that. And
That's
it
how
also led to when I was in LA, I went to LA to form a band with a friend, Jack Sawney from New York, who was plucked out of a guitar store to tour worldwide with Mark Knopfler.
Dire Straits. Yeah.
Dire
Yeah.
Straits. And it's like, whoa. And he was out there. He was off the road. We were friends. He said, come on out. I've got an English singer. Sounds like Bowie. Let's do a band. So I went out there for like a month or so. It didn't work out. I came home. But the bass player then said, Rick Springfield's auditioning bass players. This is too much information. It's just the way one thing leads to another. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So he goes, so I told him I won't audition without you. So I actually paid on my own dime and went out there and auditioned. And I got the gig, and he didn't because they thought he was an asshole because he wouldn't play with any other drummers but me. And then, so I played with Rick, and this was a show of Rock of Life, I think it's 1990 or 89. And big, like loud sounds. I had a D drum pad for a reverse snare drum and all the typical stuff of that era.
Yeah.
And I had just learned the show and just could take all the notes off the drums, with Sharpie and stuff. I changed, went to clean heads, and then the tour was canceled. So anyway, so then I came back home, and then a producer heard me playing with Rick, and I did a record, and this was for Mark Jordan. And then I was in LA, and then other friends introduced me to Gary Chang, this film composer. So I'm playing with Gary on his films. And Gary recommended me. Gary Chang worked with Robbie Robertson on his first record and told Robbie, you're an asshole if you don't check out this New York drummer I got. So his office called. They said, send us a cassette. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
And I sent him a cassette of one thing with Bill Evans, one thing with Mark Jordan, and just for a little mustard, Gotta Be a Man. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I get the call. It's like, hello, this is Robbie Robertson. Hi, Robbie. So, Gotta Be a Man, huh? I went, yeah, you do sometimes.
I'm telling you.
Great. That's great.
So that's how you ended up playing with Robbie. I mean, not
and he
just
was-
that, but yeah.
He didn't want anything like that at all.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But what happened is we got together. He said, I just want to, play down some ideas. I'm writing for a record. I want to place down some. So once or twice a week, not always steady, when he had more material to try out, me, him, and a bass player, that's it. And we're just jamming until it's grooving. I remember one moment, he stood up. It's like, we got him now. He's hooked on us. We got the pocket.
Oh, man.
You know, when the old guys stand up, you know, it's all good. So then, you know, the idea was I'd play on the record, and I didn't hear anything. And then he called, and I went to work on that. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or.
Yeah, well, that's actually the next song I had queued up that you did the perfect setup for it too. Hold Back the Dawn, and we'll play a good part of it because it's perfect. It's perfect. And
let me quickly say when I got there, this first thing is in the book. I was renting from Mark Cranny and for a bedroom and living with him in his house.
Yeah, and what year? So this was in the 80s, obviously,
88, 89, 90.
Okay.
Around then.
Yep. And how did you know Mark? If I can just to jump backwards 1 second, how would you? Had you?
Drum club, Don Perry, you know,
Myron,
you got me
Grombacher,
cats, Myron, Greg, everybody, and they embraced me. It was just wonderful having. I'm away from my wife out there, you know, in a very strange place like when you're used to New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had just. Brought our cat out there, and Bass the cat, and the morning of leaving for the studio, I went out. I bought a used Toyota pickup truck. I went out to put my cymbal bag and sticks in the car, and Bass was dead right at the time. And I just cried my eyes out. I mean, I just couldn't handle like this. And so Mark came out and said, I'll take care of the Bass, you know, and go have a good session. So I'm doing this. Oh, so I mentioned to the engineer that my cat died. I've had a terrible morning, and I'm just here early to, you know, forget that and get to work. And then, so they come in and they're playing me some tracks from the other drummers on the record that they've already done. Zigaboo Modalist, you know, JR. I'm just going, man, this is great. And then Stephen Hague, the producer, says to Robbie, let's play what we want for Billy. So they put this song on, and I'm listening to it. And first of all, I never practiced the song with Robbie in all those rehearsals, right? I never heard the song before.
Yeah.
And around mid through, I went, this is Ginger, isn't it? I go, he's fucking great. And they go, yeah, we want your energy on it. And I just thought, oh, it must be crazy. And it's like, okay, I got to strap in and be good. Anyway, so that's the preface to this. It's a beautiful song. I'm so glad I got it. And by the way, the lesson there was it's called "Hold Back the Dawn," and of course, Bassie died in the morning before dawn, and so I was in all these takes saying, "Bassie, this is for you. I'm going to play this for you." And so it was a lot of takes, and Robbie was saying he wants magic, right? And he wanted magic on every take, and the producer just wanted it like the demo, and I didn't know how to handle that at the time.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have to know how to handle it now, but I just tried to. This arm's for you, Robbie. This arm's for you, Stephen. You know, it's like how do you do that? So. So then at one point, Stephen Hague the producer goes, Billy, it's really close. Just play it just a slightly less muscular, like your dog just died. And I just went,
oh my God.
And I put down my sticks. I said, I got to take a walk. I'll be back. I promise. And I just left and I walked around the block.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I hear you. No, man.
And that was my lesson. You can't play this stuff. You can't put your brain in the middle of art. You know, as everybody, like Vinny says, you know, thinking hinders creativity. And thinking about that cat isn't going to help me play a song that I can later say this was for you. But in the moment, you can't do that. It hurts you. So anyway, then I went in and I played it, and it was all cool. So go ahead.
That's great. No, all right. What a great story. And I just want to say, another great lesson in terms of like having, being kind of put in that position where you've never heard the tune before. You'd played all these other tunes and you were like, I got this. And then they throw you, a complete curveball and want you to, we want it this way, but we want it different. It's a great story. Yeah.
This is why you have to listen to so much music. You have to appreciate and understand the guts of what makes the song work. And it's not just the drums, it's how the bass player is playing and the guitar or the piano, and all those affect what you do and vice versa.
Yeah. Well, great setup. And I'll play the track now, Hold Back the Dawn, Robbie Robertson, with the great Billy Ward on drums.
Going down over Echo Park when raven hair glowing in the dark, and that's when the fever would rise. And Lord, what a look in her eyes. From the moment that she blows out the light, we'd be lost in the forever night. Hold back the dawn. Hold back the dawn. Won't you raise up your hand and hold back the dawn? I dreamt if I could lay you upon this bed of straw, and we may break the rules, but we don't break the law. Come across, but the river's too wide. I'd come across, but the river's too high. And over by the fountain where we meet, I will lay silver roses at your feet. Hold back the dawn. Hold back the dawn. Won't you raise up your hand and hold back the dawn? Now I have seen a painting, old and hanging in a frame, and that painting was of you. Now how can you explain from another place and time, not many years ago, why I'm haunted by this vision? Guess we'll never know. And then she turned and whispered in my ear, can you feel my heartbeat? Hold back the dawn. Hold back the dawn. Won't you raise up your hand and hold back the dawn? Let the night go on. Let the night go on.
Wow, Billy, man,
I love that song.
oh my God, yeah. Admittedly, I'd heard it before, but until you sort of refreshed my memory recently, I came back and revisited it, and it's just such an amazing piece of music. You're playing. I was going to say you've recorded so many great songs, so much great music, but if you had just recorded that song, you could just hang your hat on that and hang your head high forever, because that is just, that's the top of the mountain right there, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I remember thinking maybe now I know the secret handshake because I recorded with Robbie, but it
Yes,
doesn't work out that way, man. Um,
that's beautiful. I mean,
the,
just who was the bass player on that?
um, from England, I can't remember.
Oh, it's a great. I mean, it sounds beautiful. It's
The big time is all about playing the space, and that last fill on that song. But that's and I pulled it back, like holding back the time on purpose. So I was like feeling that, and but I went da da ha. Da. I made that sound in my mouth because playing da 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 is easier, and so I
yeah,
stuck it through my mouth. And it was only recently that I heard, "Wow, that's on the record."
yeah, yeah.
I could hear it even in my little computer. But it's an example. I mean, Levon did that all the time with his mouth. I mean, it's like use things so that it works out.
Yeah.
But wow,
Yeah.
we worked it out. Robbie, like he was great. He was great. He was double R trained to me, and I had him drinking Gatorade, and he never had it before. And of course, me, it just give me the electrolytes and then after we did this, by the way, he said, let's just do a little something. So we did this like slinky song that he said was going to probably end up in a film. And it was called Two Rivers. And I've never heard it since we cut it. But it was like literally him singing and playing with me and saying, here it comes, boom. And then we stop. And then, it was just like be psychic, get it,
Yeah. Yeah.
one or two takes, done. But it was nice to have that after the tension of, holding that song back and still hitting those toms the way you have to get that sound. And
Oh man.
like, it was nice to just go like boom, boom, chick,
Yeah.
boom, and stuff.
I know. That was, I mean, 5.5 minutes too. That's a long time to hold it, like you said, to just to play with that kind of intensity, but hold it back. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
yeah. I couldn't do that. I'll tell you right now. I can play with intensity, but it's going to go like this.
Yeah.
No, man, that's what separates the men
We
from
all
the
still
boys.
want to do that, though. We all still want to do that.
Yeah. No, was there a click? Did you have to play that to a?
It was a click, yeah.
There was a click, yeah.
Click.
So
And they were fixing things. Robbie's assistant told me, maybe he was being kind to me, but he said I was the only drummer that didn't move. That made me feel good because I had worked so hard to be reliable in that arena.
yeah,
So
man, great stuff. I'm so glad that we played that song. Timing wise, we're sort of leading up to you getting asked to be part of that thing you do, and maybe you could just you could set that up and how that all sort of came to be. And
okay.
great film, celebrating 30 years this year, by the way.
Damn. Time
Incredible.
flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was a film for Gary Chang at this, can't remember the name of the studio, but the same one we used for my work on That Thing You Do. Or no, there was two in studio, one of the studios. Anyway, the producer of the film score was Gary Getzman, who is Tom Hanks's partner. So I think that's how my name came up. They called me and said, or Tom Hanks's assistant called and said, we're doing this film and it's, about this and that. And the actor has not played drums and he's been taking lessons out here, but he's not making improvement. And would you be willing to teach him? And I said, sure. And they called, and also it was convenient because he was in New York. Him and Steve Zahn, who played, I think Lenny was his character. They were both in New York. And so I set up rehearsals at Ultrasound Studios. Jeff West was running it then
Hmm.
on 30th Street. And I met him. I cared about him right away and wanted to do everything I could to help him get that gig, or keep the gig, because he was going to get fired probably if you don't show up. And so I had 3 weeks with him, as I remember. In the first week, I made him he had to stay traditional. He wanted to play grip. Nope, traditional. And I made him just no fingers and just go. He could read because he had played trumpet. So
Oh,
I had a peek at two of the songs. Let me get my song list here so I can remember.
yeah. And just everybody watching at home, like while Billy's doing that, the actor we're talking about is Tom Everett Scott, who played Guy. That was his character's name, right?
Guy Patterson.
Guy Patterson. And he seems like such a Billy, I won't get into the details, but Billy shared a little text between Tom Everett Scott and himself. So you guys are still friends. And Billy had actually inquired about having him come on the show today, which would have been really cool. But he seems like just such a cool, down to earth guy,
He's the real deal. Yeah, the real deal, very talented. It was a miracle. And so, so just no fingers, and he worked on like basically customized things to work on from like the book Rhythmic Patterns, such as that. And I'd go in for 2 hours in the morning and go home, and he'd work till 8 o'clock every night, right?
Yeah.
Until 8 p.m., something like that. And so that's it. And then they wanted me to come out to help, and up front said, you won't get credit. And I said, oh, that's okay, just pay my fee. And Jimmy Webb's manager beat me up for that. She goes, you don't realize how important getting a credit is. And anyway, so Hanks's thinking is obviously if we credit one guy, we got to credit them all.
Sure.
So we don't want that. Got to keep the fantasy there's really a band. And so anyway, so I get there and they're shooting the dentist scene with Charlize Theron, and I'm just like 12 feet away, and it's like, okay, so this is how movie making looks, right? And then they take a break, and Hanks comes up with I can't believe what you've done with Tom. He's doing so great. Thank you so much. And right away, I became stage mother from hell. Oh, thank you. It's just like, look, my guy needs more time. The first thing I did for him was the first scene where he's in his basement and he's just jamming, like playing jazzy. Yeah. So I got all the jazzy cues, right? It was my job to play them, but not play them like me. I had to play them in a way that I knew I could teach him that.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like fuck it up, you know, and so we worked on the ride pattern and how it looks, and we worked on a lot of looks things, like how to crash cymbals at the end of a rock tune, like like just stuff like that. And he did all that. It was so great to see it, and
he killed it. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He was really.
But so did you.
Actors, they really believed they could do this. Like, why are these guys recording? You know, we can do this. You know.
So, but to back up a sec, but you the cues that we hear in the film where he's playing along those little jazzy sections, and those are you, and he's
those
mimicking.
are all me by himself, or like Time to Blow at the end.
It's great.
And the one at the end of the movie where the band is broken up and he's in the studio. Okay, so that was at Ocean Way, and I don't know. I've seen it in a while. I recorded the track that he jams with the pianist. Of course, also that's jazz.
Yeah,
and that's Time to Blow, I guess. But so I had to play something I could teach him that's jazzy, a jazz drum solo, right? A drum solo that's jazzy. So I did one take, and they went, "No, that's too much, Billy." And so then I did another take, and they go, "Okay, come on in." And I walk into the booth. And there's Mick Fleetwood standing there, like making the studio look a lot smaller. I'm like, "Oh, hi, Mick." He goes, you're never going to teach that kid how to play that.
That's a nice compliment.
I know, but I wanted me to be in there. I didn't want. I have all these jazz chops, man. So I went back to the bucket of fish, stuff,
Yeah.
and then I wrote it out for him, and he worked on it with me, and I know he stayed up all night working on it. That's just who he was. He was really great. So other than that, here's what people want to know. By the way, all my cues in that film, drummers love gear. It'd be better if they did. I don't really care that much. I mean, as long as it's a beautiful drum. Sizes, okay. The Beaks, for instance, that was a 20-inch leady, old leady with one head. Anyway, so these drums were DW, and it's a 8x10 tom and a 10x14 floor tom, 16x20 bass drum, and a 5x13 snare drum. And that's on these next tracks. And also, I also did one of that thing you do's. Aronoff Kenny did all the other 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I was told mine is when they're at the state fair or something, but anyway, and I think Kenny played most of the other cues, except I know Mr. Downtown. I think that's JR.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to know that stuff.
Yeah.
So I had 2 other, like in the state fair, they come out. One is, I think, something you're going to play. The other is in a similar vein, Hold My Hand, Hold My Heart, with and that's like a 12/8. Both of them really dated, really like, I felt like I was playing a session in the 60s, and I was an adult man playing this music and all that reverb, and it was so much fun. And so,
must have been.
It was easy. It was like eating cake, it was just so good. Anyways, go ahead and play it.
All right. What I have queued up to play actually is Hold My Hand, Hold My Heart. So if that's okay, I'll play that. And I just wanted to just take a minute, Billy, if you don't mind. My little minor involvement in this, I was contacted by the props manager, the person that provided all the, some of the gear for the film. In the early part, it was probably like in the early spring of 1996, which was often the case. They'd reach out and have a movie company saying we're filming, and usually they'd say, sign this release and we'll use your Zildjian symbols, and I would always stipulate we want our logo to be seen, and then we'd sign the release. In this situation, they wanted, as you well know, period correct gear for the movie. They wanted old-looking symbols. And I remember speaking with this guy, and his first question was, do you have any symbols that don't have logos? And I said, actually, no, we don't. We don't really have I said, I might have a couple of old symbols in my office personally, but what we have here at Zildjian are, new symbols. So we proceeded to make some symbols for the film that did not have logos. But I explained they do have to have a trademark. And the symbols from that period did have, the Avitas Zildjian trademark on them. And there was a little bit back and forth on that. And I said, no, I'm not, nothing can leave this building without that trademark. So I hope the conversation doesn't end here, but in order to do this. So we did. And unfortunately, a couple of symbols did get sent out that had logos either underneath or on top that we're not supposed to, that I think initially, were ended up, and then they had to pull them. And I got a sort of heated phone call from the guy at one point saying, some of the stuff had logos and I didn't catch it in time, and someone saw it and we had to reshoot it. And I said, I'm sorry. Sometimes there's a communication breakdown between me and what gets shipped out. But it was fun to be part of it in any case. And I remember they sent an early sort of treatment of what the film was going to be. So when I found out you were involved, it really kind of warmed my heart to think about the fact that, you were actually the guy recording, not on the gear that I sent specifically, but, you were part of making this movie that was, when it came out, I remember going to see it, and it's such a great film that holds up 30 years later. It's such a great movie. So anyway, that's I think they did give Zildjian a credit. I think in the end of it, I'm pretty sure we did get a credit.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
So,
Yeah.
but
I'm
I
the
didn't.
props guy. I was involved in some of that. I didn't catch the symbol deal either. I was just making sure that overall, the in this song you're going to play, Hanks was at all the sessions, and Hanks, I can't remember what it was. He wanted me to play something, and this is one of those moments where, of course, you know what I did. I always like to plow straight ahead. Like, go ahead, fire me, you know. Oh, no, they didn't do that then. That didn't happen then. I'm not going to do that. And he goes, "Are you
Yeah.
sure?" Yes, I am sure.
That's great.
You know, I don't remember what it was. I wish I could remember, but he wanted me to do something else, you know, anyway.
Yeah.
And on
yeah.
That Thing You Do, they wanted me to play what Kenny played. So I think the only way you can tell the difference is if you hear my little smaller tom than his do-do-do-do, which is on this track you're going to play.
All right, great.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I think that's so important to hear that too. And I'll bet he really respected you for standing your ground and making it more authentic in the end, you know, by doing that.
I was a necessary nightmare to him, I think. Stage mother from hell.
Oh, that's great. Well, this is from, the band is called the
Chantrellines.
Chantrellines. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Hold My Hand, Hold My Heart, That Thing You Do. Billy Ward on drums. Yeah.
I want you to know when you hold my hand, you hold my heart. I want you to see when our eyes meet, my love and your stars. I want you to say you're thinking of me. Those nights when we're apart, I want you to know when you hold my hand, you hold my heart. My darling, my baby, my honey, my friend. This feeling for you will never come to an end. I don't mean babe or walk down the aisle, just a chance of love to make you smile. Oh, don't turn away, please hear what I have to say. I want you to know when you hold my hand, you hold my heart. I want you to see when our eyes meet, my love and your star. I want you to say you're thinking of me. Those nights when we're apart, I want you to know when you hold my hand, you hold my heart.
Yeah, there's that little Tom.
I want you to know when you hold my hand, you hold my heart. I want you to see when our eyes meet, my love and your stars. I want you to say you're thinking of me. Those nights when we're apart, I want you to know when you hold my hand, you hold my heart. I want you to know when you hold my hand, you hold my heart.
Man, that's a lot of compression, a lot of reverb. Wow.
Big. It's
Yeah,
big.
big. Very Phil Spector, very, period, perfect for that era. Perfect, period correct.
Yeah, I love it.
Man.
It was fun.
That had to be another great, just another great thing to be proud of, to have that out there. Yeah. And, I want to jump back for 1 second. I think I'm pretty sure I mentioned this during the intro, but I want to just remind everybody watching that both of Billy's DVDs, Big Time and Voices in My Head, are available through Hudson.
Yes.
And your book is available through Modern Drummer Publications, Inside Out. Okay, great. So check those out, guys. And I will put the links to all that in the show notes when this goes up on YouTube. All right, cool. Well, Billy, as we wind down, I thought we'd play one more song, and maybe you could set this up. This is "I'm Up" by Chris Shin.
This This is in 2013, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I had my wife Maura had leukemia, and it was 2 years of her being sick until she passed away in 2010. This Friday is the anniversary of that, and I was pretty much a wreck, including PTSD, which at some point I'd like to share with somebody, so that people going through it know it's not just them. But at this time, so I went down to Nashville just to not be in New York around all my memories. And I rented a house from a great man and talented man, Nico Bolas, the producer, and oh boy, what a great guy. And
Yeah.
he had bought this house and left Nashville and let me have it. And this session came together. I've known Chris a long time. It's just great. It was assembled by Chris Shin and Tim Smith, and who played bass and produced, and the whole thing was just so great. The experience. It was all 18 cats. I don't know. I can't remember any names right now. Anyway, it was like,
That's all right.
it
Yeah.
led to a lot of really nice experiences in Nashville. Later on, I ended up leaving for other reasons, but it was a great session. We were all like little kids in the Playhouse, and the record kind of feels like it. And everything we did was like, okay, how are we going to arrange it? And let's just do it. And the pianist, Bobby Ogden, had been Elvis Presley's pianist. I mean, it was just like that,
Yeah.
Paul Franklin on steel guitar, playing like outrageous shit, like not Southern stuff or anything, just like appropriate things. Just amazing musicians. Brent Mason on guitar.
Oh yeah.
And Chris's voice is ridiculous. And it's just, he can sound like anybody. He's never out of tune. His playing is natural. It's so in time. So it was cake making these. And this is a song. This is a song from that. And that
All right.
record's out.
All right. Well, that's great. Well, here's "I'm Up," Christian, and this is and you gave us the year 2013. Here it goes.
Am I late? Did I sleep too long? I've kept this secret too close. Now I'm up. What do you want from me? What do you need? I'm up. Who do you think you are? What do you need? Am I all day. You think I'm lazier than hell, and I don't blame you. Now I'm up. What do you want from me? What do you need? I'm up. Who do you think you are? What do you need? Don't let this hurt. Don't let this sting. You're not the only one who doesn't believe me. Please don't you cry if I to die while I'm dreaming. Won't let this hurt. I won't let this sting. I'm still the only one who has to believe in me. Please don't you cry if I'm to die while I'm dreaming. While I'm dreaming.
Man, what a buildup at the end there. That's just like, wow.
Yeah. And it's all natural. It's really us playing it. It's not like drums were doubled or anything. It's just
Yeah.
neat the way they did it. It's really appropriate. What a
And
great
the
band.
guitar and that slide guitar was a pedal steel that we were
Yes.
that
Yeah.
yeah I
It's
see what you
something
mean when you
else.
said it's not like what you think of pedal steel, like just had this real esoteric kind of
Yeah.
great
Incredible.
sound. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Good.
Well, Billy, this has been so great. I know, we could, there's so much more we could cover, and we'll do another one down the road. Absolutely. Cause
Sure.
I know there's, we really just scraped the surface here today, but I think we touched on some great things, and I want to thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you, Johnny. You're the best. Thank you.
You're the best too, buddy. I'm so, and let's do a Zoom or a phone call soon too, and
be
catch
great.
up on everything
Yeah.
else too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
do that. We'll do that.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you everybody for watching today, and a big hand from my buddy Billy Ward. Thank you all so much. I'll put all the links that we talked about here today in the show notes. And Billy, hang with me 1 second. We'll end the stream and say goodbye in the Zoom room.
Okay.
All right.
you.
Everybody, thanks again for watching. Big hand for Billy Ward.